All right, so I wanted to create a little video. I was tying up some lures and wanted to make a video of what I use, um, what I put together, uh, just to see maybe it'll help somebody out who's just not sure, maybe not familiar with what sort of rigging to use if you're going for sockeye in Baker Lake or elsewhere. Um, So this is based on research, people I've talked to, my own experience. Um, these are what I like to use. So we'll take a look at them just one at a time, real quick. Just a short little video. Uh, okay, I'm just gonna sit down here. So first of all, I use in this case 20-pound mono because mono is more neutrally buoyant. So the way your lures will behave in the water is just enhanced a little bit by using mono over fluorocarbon. For most of my other rigs, I'll use fluorocarbon, or I always have, especially for like kokanee fishing. But in this case, I just use this Maxima Ultra Green 20-pound. I like a rolling swivel with a snap, tied at the top of my lure, just for easy connection disconnection, and that swivel provides just a little bit more turn. The more twisting and rolling you can account for or compensate for in your rigs, the better, just to keep fish on. In this case, I was using size 1 octopus gamakatsu hooks. I also like to use the number 1 pink hooks, which I think I have on a couple of my rigs, just one of my rigs right here, and those work well. And then I just got some pink hoochies from Cabela's, and I've been tying up with those. I got some beads, 5mm and 4mm glow beads, and then just some pink beads for general use as well. I got the Double D Dodger here, which is, I think this is which size one is this? This is the 7-inch one. So this works great. This is kind of a go-to for a lot of people. I'm going to try this Pro Troll flasher. Has a little chip in here, which puts off light, and then obviously has this fin, which will make this thing just turn around and around, in the column. And so I'm curious. I haven't tried this before. I don't see many people using them or talking about them, but I wanted to try this one. This one is a little over 8 inches. It's, about 8 inches. So we'll see how that performs. I'm actually a little excited to try it. And then I have this smaller Dodger from Christensen's. And this one's a little shorter, about 6 inches. So I'm going to use that. We'll see how that performs. As far as leader lengths, I tie almost everything to about 10 inches. And then if I'm out in the water and I don't like the action I'm seeing, given the different Dodger I'm using or flasher, I'll shorten it up, or I have some that are longer that, just in case I want that action. But as far as lures go, I pretty much use pink hoochies, planning to use pink hoochies almost exclusively. I'm going to try and tie up a couple, maybe in orange and maybe a chartreuse or something, but generally it seems that pink and orange are kind of good, solid go-tos for color. But these are what I use. Someone recommended me to try putting a little spin and glow above my hoochie. So I tied a couple of these, but I just have what I have here. I'll pull it apart a little bit so we can see. I have several beads here just to set my hook, so they sit a little lower in the hoochie. They're not tucked up inside. I find that has improved my hookups and landing ratios. And then a little bead between my spin and glow and the hoochie. You pretty much always want a bead in between your hoochie and whatever spinner or action device you have on. Same with this NSR Sockeye rig. But yeah, so for this one, got my hooks down here, double hook set up. I like to tie them so they're facing opposite directions. It's personal preference. You can do what you want, but I like the idea of that, having one each way, so you have a higher chance perhaps of hooking up those beads, hoochie, and another little bead and the spinning glow. And then of course we run up here to that little snap swivel. I'm excited to try this one. I'm always excited to try a new lure. Yeah, in past years, I have used this NSR Sockeye rig, which I found on Northwest Fishing Reports. There's a long write-up out there from a guy who fishes Baker Lake, or has been for a long time, and this is one of his go-tos. It's got a little Colorado blade up here, just a little stack of red beads, some flash, and the pink number one hooks. Actually, those are number ones. And this I used my last trip to Baker, and they really didn't produce. I got one sockeye, but they just didn't produce. In prior years, they've produced quite well. But this year, the fish just don't seem interested in these. So I don't know what the deal is. I sort of shot myself in the foot on my last trip. I didn't bring these extra other hoochie styles or lure styles. So note to self and anyone else watching, bring some variety. That should seem like common sense for any fisherman, but I was cocky and didn't think I would need more variety, so I didn't bring them. Regret that deeply. This is pretty straightforward. Not much to it. It's a good lure, but they just weren't biting on these, at least not consistently. This is, I would say, the go-to. We have, again, the number one, some beads, and another little bead up here, and then what are they called? Little smile blades. Yeah, a little pink smile blade here. Is kind of the standard size one, and of course runs up to the snap swivel. But these provide really good action. I'm excited to use these next time I go out there. Several friends were using very similar rigs or the same rig and just landing them like crazy. So I think that's a solid lure to go with. As far as bait goes, for my most recent trip, I was using these Ray's Baitworks Coon Stripe Shrimp. I take the head off and just use the body because that makes it a little smaller. And then typically I'll put that body of the shrimp on this upper hook, just making sure that the barb is still exposed, because you just want to make sure that barb's out. That's going to keep that fish on if it gets hooked. So it's just those coon shrimp. And then up here on the Dodgers, I'll usually put some scent right in here on the ends of them, just to impart a little bit more scattered scent as the Dodgers swinging back and forth, or in the case of this guy, rolling around. So that's about all there is. And these hoochies, they're the little 2-inch, 2 to 2 1/4, 2.5 inch pink hoochies. Not the micro tiny ones like what I would use for kokanee. So this is just slightly sized up, but yeah, about 2 inches, 2.5 inch on those hoochies. And then for me, I like to store them in these little foam pads I got off Amazon. It's just convenient on a kayak. I don't have a big container, for these things, so keeps them all nice and neat and contained. That's about it. I'm excited. I hope everyone else is too. I hope this helps somebody as they're looking to, get out there and chase some sockeye. Tight lines.